Have you ever been to places that live in poverty?
I've never tried to just go somewhere that has poverty. I've never meant to. A lot of times I'm just passing by maybe neighborhoods or cities that have poverty in them, and you can tell that they're poor and they're not fortunate.
How do you think poverty can be prevented?
I don't really think that there is a way that you can prevent poverty. It's not something that you can control.
How do you think worldwide poverty can be solved?
Worldwide poverty, thinking about it, it happens everywhere, not just in Guatemala. And you can't really stop it. There's nothing that you, as your own human being, that you can do to stop it.
Have you ever thought about poverty before?
I've never really thought about poverty. I mean, I'm sure that there has been times where I've seen poverty and I'm like, that's really sad. And I'm thankful that it's not happening to me.
What do you think you take most for granted?
I could say that I take my life, my friends and family all for granted because they just give me so much that I could sometimes not even repay.
Has this movie inspired you to visit Guatemala?
I mean, this movie, watching it, it's inspired me to think more about poverty and how hard life is for them. And sure, I could go there to help and make things a little easier for them, but I can't stop what's happening to them.
How do you feel when you realize that we take so much for granted?
I kind of feel selfish because a lot of things that everyone worldwide gets, they don't always deserve. When you think of poverty, what comes to mind?
When I think of poverty, I definitely think of the towns and villages that you see in Guatemala. I think of, lack of money. I think of poor areas.
What emotions did you feel when you watched this film from seeing the poverty?
I definitely experienced surprise. There's a lot of things that I didn't know about Guatemala and poverty and that area. I learned a lot about managing money. The locals, I definitely developed sympathy for the locals who live there.
Have you ever been to places that have poverty?
I've never specifically planned to go to an area that was living in poverty. I passed by them, I passed through them. I've heard a lot about them on the news and seen areas, throughout school and the news and that type of thing, but I don't visit them on purpose.
How do you think poverty can be prevented?
To prevent anything, it has to start from somewhere, and usually in order to prevent poverty, you have to start with an area that isn't in poverty. So to prevent it, I think it has a lot to do with the economy in that area, the government, that type of thing, how they manage their money. Also has to do with natural disasters and that type of thing, because if there's like a hurricane or a mudslide and it really damages a lot of the area and the homes and the lives of these people who live there, it's definitely going to drain money out of the economy and the government there. So that will, some of the time, you can't prevent it.
After watching this film, do you wish you could do anything about this issue?
Yeah, I would really like to help. At the moment, there's nothing that I can do that I know of. Maybe as I get older, I would maybe look into it. I support those who do put the effort into fixing this or helping the people who live there. I don't know if I myself would like to help. I don't know if I would have the time. I mean, that sounds rude. I don't know if I myself have any interest in helping. I mean, I have interest, but it's not my priority, but I definitely do support those who go and help those who live there.